Well, it's 101.9 RXP. Anything. It's Rich Russo. I'm here at the Smithereens covering a great Buddy Holly song. And actually, you were talking about this off when another song was playing. That you bought that 45 at Colony Records, or?
No, I missed the last bus back to Jersey. A friend of mine, Dennis, and I were in a band with this kid, a cover band before we formed the Smithereens, and we came into town to see some old horror movies, in revival, and we got stuck in Times Square, and we went to Colony Records, and I was browsing through it, and I knew of the history of Colony in Times Square because it was adjacent to the famous Brill Building where Neil Diamond and Paul Simon and who else?
Neil Sedaka,
Carole King,
Goffin and King, and
Phil Spector. Yeah.
They would write these songs on a Wednesday or Thursday. They'd record them on a Friday, and then they'd go down. They'd buy their releases on a Monday. So I went in Colony, and I was just browsing around, and I found the first Buddy Holly album. I think on the Coral label.
Coral.
Sure, with Coral or Brunswick, right? What was the?
I think it was Coral.
Brunswick was the church.
Or Decca. No, the 45s were on Decca, right? The first 45 was on Decca.
Yeah, the Nashville one.
Well, this is called Buddy Holly, and it's got that famous portrait of him, sans glasses, no eyeglasses. And I looked at this thing, and it spoke to me. It really did, the whole thing. And the weight of it, that old vinyl,
It was a heavy cardboard cover, too.
Yes. And it was $20, and it was a fortune. I mean, you could have a whole Chinese meal for like two people for $4 back
You still
then.
can.
In 78, 77. Yeah, if you go down to Wohop, my favorite on Mott Street. I took it home that night, and I was searching for some sort of musical direction. I remember sitting on the floor. It was cold and rainy out, and I dropped the needle in the groove, and it came to life, and it transported me to another time and place, a better time and place. And I realized that I had been chasing my own tail musically, and that if I were to become a songwriter, I would have to model myself after Buddy. And I had tears in my eyes listening to the simplicity and the beauty of the melody. And the production was just nonpareil. It was stupendous. And that's what turned my life around, was that evening. And what did Roy Orbison say? He had toured with the Beatles, and he came back here, and the American press was interested in these Beatles who were on the verge of taking over the world, and he was a hero of theirs, and they opened the tour for him. And he said, when asked by the American press, he said, the Beatles just sound like a loud Buddy Holly, And so there you go.
That's an amazing story. I mean, Buddy Holly probably, maybe the most influential of all time.
I think that Buddy, had he lived, someone asked him in an interview during his lifetime, Dennis, they said, would you change? Or maybe they asked Maria Elena, his widow.
And you wrote a song about her on one of your albums. Right?
Yes, and we met her and became very good friends with her as a result, which was another beautiful thing for us as a result of being in the Smithereens. But Buddy would have changed with the times, and you could also see he was already branching out into that. He was doing records with strings, things like that. He had his own label. There's a card that exists, Prism Records, Norman Petty, I think would have been distributed by Decca or something like that. Yeah. He was writing for other artists. He was producing other artists. He was a smart man who would have really gone far, but that was his destiny. He was supposed to die at age 22.
That's unbelievable. I mean, just to see what that guy would have been with. This is Rich Russo, 101.9 RXP, anything here at the Smithereens, talking about Buddy Holly. And let's talk about another young band right now. We got to, we like to play the young unsigned music, and I get piles of CDs every week, which is a cool thing. It's like the old days, bands, they listen, they hear the show, and they realize that, hey, we can play anything we want. So this is cool, and I love to listen to a lot of the young bands and hear their influences, where you guys are influenced by Buddy Holly and obviously Beatles. This next band that's actually from Long Island, and they're an unsigned band. They're called Faded Horizon. The lead singer and songwriter's name is Andrew Eisenberg. He turned 18 yesterday. Faded Horizon is a three-piece band. Andrew plays guitar and sings. Corey Asman is on bass, and Brian Baronius. We're just going to call him something else. There was a band once that we just made up the guy's name. We just called him Lenny Hightower because we couldn't pronounce the guy's name. So the bass player was, but it's Brian Baronius. I'm not sure. Barunis. He plays drums. They have a release out called Revival. It can be found at fadedhorizonmusic.com. And on Saturday night, they're going to be playing the Attic Bar in Queens. This band has a great sound to them. You can pick up the obvious influence influence of Green Day, the three-piece teenage band, as Green Day was when they began. But yet this sound is a little bit more later Green Day as opposed to the early punk Green Day when they started. Also, the riff of the song has a little bit of Pearl Jam in it, and the chorus has some very, very similarities to something the band The Muffs might do, all of which are great, great things. So happy birthday to Andrew. Here's the Anything Anything debut of Fade of the Horizon. The name of the song is I'm Here, 1019, RXP Anything Anything, your home for unsigned music.